Imagine a man sitting across from a woman and saying, I want to be very clear about my expectations. I will provide the basics: food, clothing, and a roof over your head. Beyond that, don't expect much. Thoughtful gestures, emotional presence, making you feel cherished, protecting your peace, or making your life easier are not things I consider my responsibility. You will, however, be expected to adjust. You will adjust to my family, my traditions, my habits, my schedule, and my moods. You will care for our children, support my parents, maintain family relationships, manage the emotional climate of our home, and handle criticism or interference with grace. Family opinions will often carry more weight than yours. I may not communicate well. I may not notice when you're struggling. I may not ask how you're doing or make much effort to understand your inner world. From time to time, I'll remind you that I pay the bills and provide for the household, as though financial provision alone is the measure of a husband. Now, here's what I expect from you. I expect patience. I expect understanding. I expect loyalty. I expect respect. I expect emotional support. I expect gratitude. I expect you to overlook my shortcomings. I expect you to keep trying when you're exhausted. I expect you to keep giving when you have nothing left. I expect you to carry yourself with kindness, warmth, and a smile, regardless of how lonely or unseen you feel. In short, I expect everything. And if you become resentful, discouraged, disconnected, or emotionally depleted, then clearly you're the problem. The unsettling part is that versions of this conversation have become surprisingly common. As a teacher, I have the privilege of working closely with many families. I see what happens inside homes long after the wedding day has passed. I have also spent a great deal of time speaking to men and women who are preparing for marriage. One pattern continues to stand out. I often meet women who are carrying the weight of almost everything. They raise the children, manage the home, navigate extended family relationships, absorb emotional labor of the household, keep the peace, and continue giving even when they have very little to give. Increasingly, I also hear expectations from some men who are looking to get married that sound remarkably similar to the conversation I just shared with you. The expectation is that a wife will adjust to everyone and everything, while financial provision is presented as the husband's primary contribution. At the same time, I meet women who are settling for these expectations because they're repeatedly told that nothing better will come along, that they're asking for too much, and that this simply what marriage is. This isn't every man, and it certainly isn't every marriage, but it is a pattern I encounter often enough that I believe we need to talk about it honestly. The saddest part is that I don't just see unhappy wives. I see exhausted mothers. I see disconnected marriages. And I see children growing up in homes where one parent is carrying burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. A marriage cannot thrive when one person calculates the minimum they can contribute while demanding the maximum from the other. No human being flourishes where expectations are endless, but consideration is scarce. Healthy marriages are built by two people asking, how can I make life lighter for you? They slowly unravel when one person asks, how much can I take while giving as little as possible in return? What genuinely puzzles me is not that these expectations exist, it is how ordinary they have become. When did marriage become something one person receives while the other maintains? When did companionship become a list of obligations instead of a place of mutual care? When did adjustment become a word that seemed to apply almost exclusively to one spouse? And when did we begin telling women they should pour 1000% of themselves into a marriage while being grateful for someone else's bare minimum? Perhaps the most concerning part is that many of these expectations are defended in the name of Islam. Yet this is not the model of marriage that Islam teaches. Marriage in Islam is built on mercy, compassion, kindness, justice, and mutual responsibility. Financial provision is one responsibility. It was never meant to define the entirety of a husband's role, just as caring for the home was never meant to define the entirety of a wife's. Marriage was never meant to revolve around the question, what is the least I can give while still getting what I want? It was meant to be built on a different question. How can I become a source of mercy, comfort, protection, support, and peace for the person who has entrusted their life to me? The more I listen to conversations about marriage today, the more I find myself wondering, when did imbalance become normal? And why are we so surprised that fewer people are willing to accept it? With warmth, with love, and prayers for softer, gentler days.